Welcome back to Hondookiville, and we are rethinking. Yes, we're rethinking everything, including batteries. So I've been looking at some other CB750s in particular, and it seems to be a popular place to put the battery. This one might be a little large for the situation. Yeah, it's the one that Derek bought for the 748, which of course didn't fit that either. It's quite big, isn't it? But you know, I'm just I don't know, how do you fit it there? It would need a strap and a kind of crate to sit in. I don't like it. I suppose it could work. Bit random. Anyway, time to stop pissing about. It's time for the big guns. Like I said, it's only a exploratory piece, and you get a free washer every time you do this. Well, there's the result, yeah. So it's kind of a flush fit. It's a little bit too big, actually. It's just hanging in there by a thread, literally. But, you know, you get the idea. That's what I was going for. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to... Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use these actual lights because they're a bit shit, honestly. But for riding lights, I guess they're good enough, you know. I mean, you couldn't see anything in the dark using them, believe me. I don't think they were the same lights exactly, but they were pretty bloody similar, and we used them on the Nissan in the 24 Hours of Lemons. No, it was Chump Car at Las Vegas, and the race went into the night. It went into the darkness, and yeah, we had those lights strapped on the front, and it was still darkness. I spun off numerous times because I basically couldn't see where the hell I was going, and if there wasn't someone to follow. Hence the idea of a fourth light, if I'm going to use 3 of these for riding lights, a fourth light for actually seeing where the hell you're going in the dark. Trouble is, I just don't like it. It's a bit lazy. It's an 8x8 square. It's kind of... it's just boring, you know? I'm kind of going back to this idea, yeah, the mudguard. I kind of like that offset on the one side, i.e. where I got the lights. Kind of like that idea. That was kind of cool. Uh-oh, now what? Well, I did find some conventional headlamp brackets for 54mm forks. So, I think I shall order those, regardless. And I'm thinking 2 things. I'm thinking to flip this 90 degrees, so that thing that's sticking out points down, like it did when it was mounted down there. So that's good. I've got a bracket for that. That's over here, next to the noisy cupboard. There, yeah, lovely. And what else? And I'm thinking maybe a conventional light. Like that. Or going back to this idea. Yeah. Maybe. Centered. How conventional of me. So I've decided where I'm going to mount the USB there under the frame. Plenty of room. Nothing there. Under the tank. Yeah, lovely. So I thought, you know, what's the best way to do that? Well, I guess that's a good starting point, isn't it? Yes, a hose clip or 2, and how you marry those together, I do not know. Anyway, I shall give it some thought, and that reminds me, I need to sort out these carburetors because they're still they're just about in line, aren't they? Perhaps we should try putting the carburetors back on. Well, honestly, a straightforward hose clip I think will do the job. It's not going to be on show. It's purely functional. Anyway, I promised I'd get on with things, and there it is. The oil tank is back in place, and the pipes are fed through and ready to receive. Yeah, that was quite a palaver. Don't remember it being so difficult to take them out, but there you go. So they're kind of there. Luckily, I had some spare yellow and blue wire here to feed through the frame to get these boys plugged back in. Don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. Obviously, I'm going to pull it back behind once I've sorted it out, but I guess it needs some of that bigger sheath. Maybe just some tape would be safest. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, there's a nice view from down here, thanks to some lovely engine paint. And I think if we can, we'll put some of that skeletal sheath on the actual oil pipes themselves, just for show. It's not really any extra protection, but I suppose it is. At least that front one. I don't know if I can get to the back one. Yeah, you get the idea. That's much neater, tidier. Anyway, meantime, the bolts that bolt these back on are 6 mils, and I found one. I swear I had a whole pack of these. I can't remember where the hell I put them. And there we have it, back to vertical. Not bad. Resolved a lot of potential issues, i.e. it doesn't stick out so much, yada yada yada. Well, I think this is the solution, is to join these two together. I don't know how yet. Yeah, like that, only better. That's what we do if it's a race car, obviously. Alrighty, let's hook up the oil lines. Remembering, of course, to insert the O-rings, which I carefully took out and examined. You should replace these, but despite my criticism of some of the build of this bike, other bits seem to have been done, including these O-rings. They look in very good condition and almost new. It's difficult to tell, obviously, but I'm going to be reusing these particular ones. I may well be swapping out some of the bolts because this one's horrible. Yeah, we hate Phillips, and that one's quite gnarly, even though obviously it's got a hex head on it. So I've got a variety of Allen bolts. I think these are off the MV, actually. That we'll be replacing those with, hopefully. 6 mils. Sailing in. Beautiful. Job done. Number 1. Well, that second one was a little bit more difficult to get back into place, but it is, as you can see, ready to put the bolts in. Not least of all because of my sheathing and wiring, etc. So yeah, tight fit, but it's there. Excellent. Well, they're in and snugged down, and interestingly on the front one I had to use a longer, not quite that long, but I started off with one of these, somewhere in between the two, because I guess the thread at that point is kind of shredded or something. So there we go, it's complete. And on to the next job, replacing the gaskets. I hope these are the right gaskets. They've been in my drawer for ages. I'm not sure now, looking at them. We'll find out when we get the covers off, I guess. They're supposed to be the right gaskets. Anyway, so we've got our trusty socket wrench thing, and we've got our Allen head sockets ready to go. How about that for organised? Yes, as you may remember, there are different lengths on the transmission case and probably on the other one. So I have laid them out as they came out from the cover, so that I know where they go. How clever is that? So again, you may remember we've already cleaned up the faces with a razor blade, so they're free of stuff, but there's still some oil obviously leaking out, so we're just going to clean up those faces before we put our red gunk on. You may also remember I was going to check out the situation with this wiring here as to what kind of space was available, and I think they're kind of on our limits. It's not going to interfere with anything if we poke it in further, though. We can at least see that because it's kind of coming in this area, so that's good to know. Alright, actually before we do anything else, let's see if one of these gaskets actually fits, Don't look like it. Well, I was wrong. So that one fits. That's lovely. I should probably avoid trying to do jigsaws. Alrighty, let's take this cover off too. We might as well do them both at the same time, because if there is any life left in this tube, then we'll use it all up, because we're going to have to cut the actual tube. I think it's buggered, honestly. Same method of following the bolt pattern. Things are about to get messy. So, plenty of this, providing a nice blue tint to the light. Yeah, we're going to cut that old one open, see if there's still anything usable in it. If not, we have a brand new one standing by. Oh, and we better just check that that fits. Lovely jubbly. As suspected, we have a fully hardened tube, so we'll be using the new stuff. Oh, that's better. I've cleaned the lens. So anyway, there's that gunked up and hung in place and kind of sticking there. So I need to get on and gunk up the other side, so it's ready to go quickly. By the way, good idea to kind of warm this up a little bit. It's a little bit cold in here and proving difficult. Oh, and another thing, well, I remember, thanks to Mike at IDR, because if you're ever in any doubt as to whether you should use this stuff or not, if it's a cardboard paper type gasket, use this. If it's plastic or metal, do not. There you go. Okay, one done. Just snugged down, you know, generously snugged in place. Let it seal up and then torque it down finally. And as usual, you know, started bottom corner, then there, then here, then there, yeah, just to keep all the pressure even. Number 2 gunked into place, and now we just have to gunk that up and slip it all back on. Schoolboy error number 1. This cover has to go on first. Luckily, I followed up straight away, so I was able to get this one off again quickly before it all set, snug it down again, having put this one in place. And why? Because the wiring from here goes through there. Yeah, duh. There we have it. In typical British fashion, defeat narrowly snatched from the jaws of victory and then snatched back again. So, yeah, we are buttoned down, kind of generously hand tight. A little bit of bubbling going on there. We'll clean that out afterwards. We'll wait for it to dry out. I cleaned it up here a bit already, but I think it's better to wait for it to dry, honestly. So there we go. Cover's back in place. As usual, how not to put gaskets back on. Yes, just remember the order, the sequence that things have to be done in. So who wants to bet that that leaks oil? It'd be a proper triumph if it didn't leak oil. Oh, what? It's not a Triumph? Oh yeah, it's Honda, that's right. And if you're not sure how to apply this stuff, just Googling some cake decoration videos. Yes, it's a little like icing a cake. I know this to be true, because I used to help my mother icing cakes. Well, I ate the icing faster than she could put it on the cake, but there you go. Anyway, enough about cakes. Note to self, all bolts involved in the oil system need tightening before filling with oil. Obviously I'm not going to remember that, but yeah, anyway, while we're dealing with oil, there's the I'm presuming it's the breather hose which goes back into the tank, which is very sensible. I presume that's coming straight off the back of the crankcase there. I'm assuming that's what it is. And yeah, and that, which it's off the rocker covers, I don't know. Again, oil breather. We'll just dump that on the back tyre, I think. No. I've fitted it at least to the front end, and where it ends up and goes, I don't know yet. Probably not into yet another oil catch tank. I don't think we need it. So we're kind of done with the oil situation, the oil crisis. Yes, I'm old enough to remember it. So on that slippery slope, I think we'll call this episode to an end. And as usual, thanks for watching. If you thought it was vaguely entertaining, give it a thumbs up. If you like to see some more, please subscribe. I'm losing subscribers as fast as I'm gaining them. I'm obviously upsetting people. It must be something to do with my attitude. Anyway, if you like my attitude, encourage others to watch my lunacy.